Hi loves. I feel like I haven't actually like sat down and talked to you guys in so long, so this video is just me and you and me. I've been so cozy these days. I just got this sweater from this brand called Naked Cashmere, and let me tell you, I've been living in it. It is so comfortable, and like Uggs are having a moment again. So like I just got these Ugg slides, and let me tell you, it is a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend. It's really weird. For some reason, my right foot is like full blown hanging out, and then my left one just like tucks right in. So my feet are obviously different sizes, but these are so comfortable. I actually went online because I was trying to get like the classic Uggs because they're just so freaking comfortable and it's so cold outside, but it was sold out. So I opted for these, but these are really freaking chef's kiss. So I'm just gonna be like talking a lot in this video pretty much the entire time. So I was like, let me make myself some tea, and then I was like, I opted for a smoothie and I made a strawberry banana smoothie. But look at this color. I added kale, and this just tastes like a kale banana smoothie, which is kind of like a weird combo, but I'm like, it works. I'm just like telling you guys about my entire setup. I got this back pillow. I used this because when I got foot surgery, which finally I'm gonna be uploading my foot surgery experience and why I got foot surgery probably in the next couple weeks. It's like a 2-part series because I have so much footage around it. No one asked for that footage, but I shot all the footage. Anyways, I was parked on the sofa for so long, and this is really comfy. We're back so far. I got it on Amazon. So let's just prop that right. Let's just prop her right. Oh, it's so comfy. So the inspiration for this video came from this account that I follow on Instagram called We The Urban, and they have like really short snippets, and they have like basically this series called 7 Things You Need to Hear Today, or like 5 Things You Need to Hear Today. And sometimes it's about wellness, like self-love, mental well-being. So this video was inspired by that, and I was like, I'm just gonna do my own rendition of it. It's gonna be a little more long, a little more long-winded, but I absolutely love the idea. So this is my take on 7 simple self-care ideas and mindsets that I'm taking into 2023. So these are things that I've either learned or practiced within the past year that's been really helpful for me, and moving forward I will take into 2023. I know that now that we're at the end of the year, everyone's gonna, not everyone, but people are gonna start, you know, setting their intentions and goal setting, things like that. Sometimes I feel like that can get really overwhelming because sometimes I feel like it's very ambitious. Like mine are always so freaking ambitious. I look back on some of the goals I set, I'm like, okay sis, but dream big, we'll get there. It doesn't have to happen in 1 year. So anyways, I probably will do that video at one point, maybe. But anyways, let's just dive in. Let's just dive into these 7 simple self-care ideas and mindsets. So the first one is give yourself credit and celebrate how far you come. I feel like sometimes when we're just going through the day-to-day, it's hard to realize actually when you look back a couple months ago, or maybe to even the start of this year, or maybe just like a few weeks ago, whether something has happened in your life or it's a goal that you had wanted to reach, you have made so much progress since that point, from when the idea was even like birthed. So I think it's really important to give ourselves credit along the way, because that can get lost when you're in the day-to-day and you're always like striving and reaching for the next thing. At the end of the day, we need to celebrate both the wins and the losses, because the losses sometimes are just like the biggest learning lessons, and we have to take L's. We have to have those flops to have those wins, and to make those wins even more special in our lives. And at the end of the day, you showed up for yourself. You know, you tried, you did it, whatever the outcome was. So for that, you should be very proud of yourself. Number 2 is let's feel and acknowledge all our emotions. Like, let's just feel our emotions, let it all out. And it is so healthy. For me, I used to be someone that used to bottle everything up. I would not let myself feel vulnerable or be vulnerable. Obviously that's changed a lot since I'm married and I have like a partner, but prior to that, even in my other relationships, I would bottle everything inside. Even with friendships, I just never wanted to seem vulnerable for some reason. And that was very unhealthy, not sustainable whatsoever. It's not even good for friendships either, because I don't think it moves things forward. If you're not opening up, they don't feel like they have the space to open up. And in a partnership too, like with Kellen, he's helped me so much and like tap into my emotions. And now I feel like I'm like, I cry, I happy cry, I sad cry, and it's so fucking liberating. Because before, I used to never. I used to think that I had to just be like so strong and not feel anything and just like you're gonna move past it. But that's super unhealthy and that shit will catch up to you. So, you know, I think whatever you're going through, it's really important to feel those emotions and just like be with those emotions, even though it may feel like shit. And you can have like just a really good cry. A really good cry feels so good. It just feels like a big sigh, like a big exhale, like a weight has been lifted off your shoulder. Like I love me a good, you know, ugly cry once in a while. It could be while I'm talking to my really close friends, like all those emotions would flood out, or just like by myself. But it just feels really good. I'm all for it. I think it's just important to feel and digest and process everything. So let yourself just feel all those emotions. This light is hitting. It's hitting from my grill. Which takes me into my next, sorry, I just took a sip of that smoothie. So, which takes me into my next point, which is take care of your mental well-being. This is something I've really been intentional about in the past year. And with that, I'd also like to thank our sponsor, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. So a year ago, I just went through some personal hardships, and that's actually right around the time when I started BetterHelp. And it was really helpful for me to navigate that period and process and feel everything. And of course I had my friends and family to rely on, but having professional help during that period was really important. So if you're going through anything that's particularly hard, maybe traumatic, something like that, I feel like therapy is a great resource. But also, even now, I've moved past that, and now I use therapy more as self-maintenance and just overall mental well-being. I think it's really important. I think in the past I used to think like, oh, you only take therapy when you're like trying to work through a specific trauma or something that you were dealing with as like a child, like unraveling some history. But it's actually really, really healthy for, again, just mental maintenance, because you can talk about anything and everything with your therapist. It is a completely safe space. So at first, I think I had to get kind of used to that, because initially, of course, they start off as strangers. And with BetterHelp, you can switch therapists at any time, which I actually did. I think the first therapist that I had got connected with, I ended up switching a couple weeks later, and I've been with the same therapist for this whole time now. It's just really helpful because they have the professional know-how and they have the professional tools to help you with what you're going through. And why I really like BetterHelp is, as you can see, like I am such a homebody, so being able to have my sessions in the comfort of my home, which I've mentioned before, like me not having to drive anywhere, but you just having access to amazing therapists in the comfort of your own home and accessible prices, I think is really important. BetterHelp is also the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. So you have either the option of doing a face call, like a video call, or a voice call, or text message. I just like to keep it super anonymous. It's totally up to you and your discretion, but I just do voice calls. I don't know, I like the privacy of it. And then the chat is available 24/7, and the system is so easy to use. You basically, everything is either on your desktop or on your phone, and you can schedule, and it's super, super easy. So If you've never tried therapy before, I think this is a great time to try it. If you are curious, and what a great time to start before the new year. And if you're just looking for different therapy options. So to get started, you just need to answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. So BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy with more scheduling flexibility and a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/LMVLora. That's better, BETTER, help, HELP.com/LMVLora. So point 4 is something that I've talked about before, and I also talk about quite frequently on my Instagram, is doing social media detoxes. Like, it used to be on Sunday, sometimes it's Saturday, now sometimes it's the weekdays. But basically, I'll do one day of social media detox, meaning I don't go on any of my social platforms like YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. I was like, those are it, right? Yeah. And having those detoxes honestly has been so amazing. Like, if there's something that you guys try or are curious in, I feel like you should try it. Like, there is a stark, and I mean a stark difference on the days that like I'm on my phone, like so mindlessly scrolling. I'll either like open Instagram or TikTok. TikTok is one that I get lost in the most, which, like, if you guys are on TikTok, you understand. There's so much content moving so fast, just blah, 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 blah in your face. I must say I love it, it's fun, but I really do get sucked in there. Even if like you have a timer, I just kind of like bypass it. Doing these social media detox are so important because I found in the days that I am spending way too much time consuming way too much on social media, my mood, I just feel like shit. For some reason, my energy is really depleted. I don't feel good about myself. I find myself comparing. I'm like, oh my God, look at what he or she is doing, and look at the stats. And like, I think it's so easy to get caught up in that. And I can just tell, I feel like even my like energy and everything is so hazy, which just sounds kind of like counterintuitive because my career is on social media. But I do think that in order for things to be sustainable and have a healthy relationship, it is really healthy to have those kind of boundaries. And it just helps you be so much more present because I'm not reaching for my phone. And like, especially on my social media detox days, when I reach for my phone, you know how sometimes when you reach for your phone to like check something, you end up on social media. So I'm actually even more mindful of that on my detox days because I'm like, okay, I'm not checking, I'm not logging on. It doesn't like benefit me. And yeah, I've actually tested this recently because there was like a day where I was like, blah, I'm gonna just veg out and like stay on my phone. And by the end of the day, let me tell you, I felt so shitty. It's not even like the comparison thing. I think it's just like being on your phone that long is just not mentally good for you. So anyways, social media detox days, I'm all for it. And I'm also about using those days to like really, really properly rest and like decompress and not having to be productive, like not having to work, like not having to yield an outcome for the day, and just rest and relax and don't feel guilty about it, because resting is productive and it's really necessary. So don't feel guilt about it. Take days off for yourself. I also want to give myself this time and space. I feel like I come back recharged, more creative, more excited to create. And sometimes I think I'll go on social media, especially TikTok, because I'm like, you know, like what's trending, what inspiration can I find? And at the end of the day, I get off there with zero inspiration. And Marie Forleo has this really great quote for creators where she says to create before you consume. And I've been trying to apply that more because I think in my mind, sometimes I think like, oh, I will consume to get inspired, but oddly enough, that doesn't work for me. So create before you consume. Point 5 is to let go of the things you cannot control. In life, there definitely are some things. Most things I think are like within our power, you know, say like goals and career, because our effort yields the results. But also there's also a handful of things in life that we can't control, like rejections, things not meeting our expectations, people letting us down. And you know, being the control freak that I am, I used to stress out about these things, and I was like, oh, why isn't this happening, or why isn't this working? And then when I pulled back, I was like, what is the point of stressing about things that I literally cannot control? It's out of my hands. And that just adds unnecessary stress to our already lives that are having lots going on. So in those moments, I try to pull back and just like take a deep breath. And I'm like, you know what? Things I cannot control, I really do try to let go. And I think this is a practice that I'm still working on, but I feel like I have gotten better because I'm such a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. I see, you know, rejection as redirection, and rejection is also something that it stings, it sucks, no one wants to experience it, but it is like I think it's an innate part of human life, because you're gonna get rejections in like intimate relationships, in social settings, in professional settings. So I think being able to take those rejections, find the lesson, and know that it's redirection is really healthy. And I think that's a good mindset to have. And always know that things that are meant for you will not pass you. And this is also something that I've been telling myself. Like, I have quotes just like in my notepad. Like if I'm reading something, if I come across a quote, I have like a notepad that I put it in. And this one has been in mine for a very long time. And it's always believe something wonderful is about to happen. And I really believe that. And I think having those kind of mindset, it's like a good alignment. So with that said, let go of the things you can't control. This is a note to myself that I need to start fully charging my camera batteries. My other camera died, and now I've switched, and I feel like you can see the difference in quality and the coloring and the thing. But anyways, so point 6 is a really important one, which is don't let fear or other people's opinions get in the way of what you want to do. And again, a quote that I read that I really love and that I try to live by at this point is, if you're scared, do it scared. And this philosophy has been really great for my personal growth, because there was a lot of things in the past that would make me like really uncomfortable. I was really scared, and whenever I tried these things that made me uncomfortable, it helped me get over it. So the more I did it, the less afraid I was of it. And sometimes in our heads, we make it out to be so much like scary than it actually is. And then when you actually do it, you're like, it really wasn't that bad at all. So I think trying things that make you uncomfortable is really important for self-growth. That's helped me a lot. And just like my personal life, breaking out of my shell helped me in my career, just trying new things. And, you know, I think when we're doing anything for the first time, it's like the unknown, right? Which can seem scary, which it makes sense because, you know, you've never been here before. You've never felt this. You've never done this. So of course it can feel kind of like daunting at first, but like you have to remember, anyone that's ever done anything has started out as a beginner. So even like people that like I freaking admire, there's people that I like, who comes to mind? Like Emma Grede. She is a founding partner of Skims. She's a co-founder of Good American. You know, when I think about people like her, and I'm like, oh, so admirable. She's a business titan. Things like that. It's like at one point too, like she was also a beginner, and she also started out. And I think it's just about really, really committing and being able to commit to learn as you go, and figuring out as you go is what I've learned. And I think it's a good rule of thumb, because we can't know everything right off the jump, you know? And you know that quote, maybe you've heard it, I'm sure you have. It says, if you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting forever, which is so freaking true. I think you just have to start with whatever you have now and start with the tools that you have. And then, the second part was, don't be consumed with other people's opinions. Because I do feel like it can be easy to be like, oh, what if this person judges me. What if they think this? What if they think that? But at the end of the day, it's like, who the hell cares? Because this is your life. So like, you know, that person saying this, that person saying that, like, I'm like, you're not gonna push my future forward. So, and people, if they talk, they talk. It happens. It's life. But at the end of the day, I also think that humans are far more self-centered. So we're thinking about ourselves a lot, and people may talk about you in passing conversation, whatever, but at the end of the day, they're really thinking about themselves. So I think getting caught up in other people's opinions is totally a waste of time. It's easier. It's definitely easier said than done. But as I do get older, I do realize I do care less what other people think. Yeah, hopefully it'll continue. Just care less and less, but in a good way, but not in a bad way, but in a good way. And if people have things to say and they're talking, it's like, you know what? It's fine, because you're the one that's like showing up, doing the work. You're the one in the arena. Yep, that's a Brene Brown reference. But you're the one like literally showing up and doing the work. So that's kind of like, you have to just drown out, I guess, outside chatter. And you know, when you think about something that's like a new goal or something big that you want to tackle, I think it's also really easy to remember. Like, think about the last like big goal that you had to tackle, and think about how daunting it was. But maybe you've accomplished it, maybe you're almost there to accomplish it, but you figured it out at the end of the day. Basically, you learned as you went, and you moved in small steps, and it may have been an uphill climb, but you did it. You did it once, so you can totally do it again. And I know that you can. I know that you will. I finished the smoothie. This takes me to point 7, which is our final point. And moving into 2023, don't play small. Pour your love and all and your best into everything that you do. And you really truly have to believe in yourself. I know we hear that a lot, and I feel like that sounds so like Disney, but it's so true. Just having that real faith and belief in yourself will carry you so far. And you have to root yourself on along the way. Like, root yourself on like you would root on your best freaking friend if she was like doing something or trying something new. You really have to believe in yourself, and you have to root yourself on. I mentioned before, do things that make you uncomfortable, because that's truly how you grow out of your comfort zone and into achieving, like unlocking new levels of yourself. Make moves, take action, little steps every single day, and know that you already have everything in you to create the future that you envision. I know that this video was quite lengthy, and when I was trying to figure out how to do this video, I was like, you know what? I kind of just wanted to be like a conversation between you and I, hence me just propped in front of the camera. But I hope that was some good takeaways for you guys. I know it was a little lengthy, but thank you for spending this time with me. And I'm just gonna leave you on this final note, because I think really emphasizing self-love and self-care during this process of becoming who you want to be is also super important. So keep that in mind, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.